Hey, do you like tracer units? What am I saying? Of course you do. But you don't want to spend the money on tracer units. They're overcomplicated and don't really give you a clear instruction of how they actually work. Well, here's where this comes into play, because our friends over at T238.net have actually helped work with us to help hook you guys up with not only some great deals, but also even better tracer units. So, be it, of course, from, say, the most cyberpunk of cyberpunk. Or even the most tactical of tactical rifles. T238.net has got what you're looking for. And aside from tracer units, they also make high-powered motors, be they high speed, high torque, or even anything in between. For V2s, V3s, they even have trigger units that are easy to install and just do a lot of awesome things. And the best part is, they have components that prevent them from overheating. And it's not just for airsoft. No, they also make it for gel ball and Nerf. Meaning that if your country does not allow you to have the coolness that is airsoft, then at least you have something for Nerf and gel ball. So, go down to the link down below and use the coupon code AirsoftAL and you'll get some awesome stuff. And even better stuff, be they discount codes or, of course, free shipping. But if you use the link down below, then you'll be helping us out here on the channel. So please, go down there to the link down below, use that referral link, and get some really awesome stuff. I mean this, folks. T238 has never steered me wrong, isn't going to steer you wrong. They are simple, easy to use, and easy to understand, and they're reliable. So, what are you waiting for? Go down there right now at T238.net's link down below and use coupon code AirsoftAL and get some good stuff. Never let it be said, ladies and gentlemen, that I don't review high-end guns. In reality, I do review a few high-end guns, it's just very rare and far between. This one, however, of course, was provided to us by our buddy Tony, aka Apex, who basically looked at this, realized it's not his bag, and said, you know what, I would enjoy it. And he was right. This one actually being, of course, ENC. Now, he did review this on the channel, but not in the style that I would review it. And for those who don't know what ENC is basically like one of those older companies, I think. I don't know the full history of ENC. You want to go to that, go look for it yourself. But basically, from what I understand from his video, this is basically like what Classic Army was back in the day, and in terms of like the 90s. But because of the price tag of about $300, this thing apparently is just straight up wham bam, thank you ma'am, right out of the box, ready to go. And honestly, I have to agree with him. And this is definitely one of those things of, I'm kind of interested to see how it turns out. That, and let's face it, it's something that's definitely my bag. Ladies and gentlemen, the future service rifle. Now, you're saying this, you have many questions, but first let's just marvel at it. Let's marvel at the XM16, and just marvel at its beauty. The fact that this was what Eugene Stoner intended for the Armalite rifle to be. That, and I do love the laser engraving on this. Like, seriously, the laser engraving on the magwell is just great. If only I had a friend who could laser engrave some NCR stuff. That's just one of those things. But I will admit that the nylon fiber is actually pretty good, and of course has that lovely bit of just clamshell down the middle, which from my understanding actually was a thing from some of the early production models. We're gonna get to the buttstock here, because that is the one I'm definitely gonna talk about. But, again, just the fact that it's accurate. It is so accurate to the actual rifle that it is beautiful. Just beautiful. Now, what do you get in the box? Aside, of course, from the rifle. From my understanding, what you get in the box is not only, of course, a very good, very nice, just accurate M16, but you also get, of course, a nice 190 high cap, which this thing will get painted to match that lovely bit of just gunmetal gray that I absolutely love. The other thing is the grip is definitely sharp. And granted, that's for my hands, because I definitely am very sensitive to sharper objects. But yeah, the edges here are definitely sharp. So yeah, just want to give you that heads up. So if you like have an aggressive grip, the pointed ends will dig into the flesh. So you may want to sand that down a little bit. Although, again, it just might be me. Again, I just absolutely friggin' love this. It is... I have... oh my god. Full metal body. Upper and lower. The 3-prong flash hider. Bayonet-like. Just... oh my god. The proper rear sight. I have no words to describe my absolute admiration for this. I really cannot. But if you want to learn more about it, which before we get into the history of the M16, one thing. That $300 gets you a locking bolt, which actually is functional. This is basically an adult fidget toy for me, I'm just saying. But, this is wired to Tamiya, but how you get the buttstock, so, how you get to the buttstock, is you literally have to unscrew this and access it that way.
Excuse me, the fuck did you just say?
Now, I know many of you are saying, you're telling me this thing doesn't have a trapdoor? No, it does not have a trapdoor. In reality, it's just a rubber pad there, but, when you undo the screw here to access the battery compartment, I might as well get a Phillips head and show you what I mean. Phillips head. Just gonna undo that. Nice loosey-goosey. By the way, the rubber does actually, not mold very well. But yeah, you're supposed to figure out a way how to basically, supposed to somehow get it off, but the only real way you can actually access it is by unscrewing it all the way, and when you unscrew it all the way, this is what happens.
What the fuck? Failure! Failure! You're still a failure! Failure! I can smell the failure!
Just play the clip.
Nice fucking model!
So yeah, basically, they did that. I'm just going to set this down for a second and talk about this. Now, well, yes, it is true that the original M16 buttstock was a tad bit shorter. The big thing about it is that, the way this thing is set up is that either you basically loosen enough to where you can actually push this up into the side, or you just completely remove the entire fucking thing altogether, and then you just basically insert the battery, and then you just put the whole entire thing back together. I'm not going to say this is a horrible, horrible design for a buttstock. Neither am I saying it's, neither am I saying that it's not a horrible design for a buttstock. What I am saying, however, is that I am probably going to replace this entire buttstock with something a little bit more fitting. to say the least. So, I'm gonna quickly replace this buttstock with something more fitting and make it a lot easier for me to actually access the battery compartment going forward in this review. Be right back. Okay, folks, it's a generally accepted idea that if you're making a $300 gun, you make sure that, you know, things are proportioned correctly. And what this thing actually did right was be as accurate as it could be to the original M16 before it became the A1. One of those things apparently it decided not to do was effectively give you a long enough damn cable to fit through the entire fucking buttstock. Explain! 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 What you're looking at here is an M4 buffer tube length wire.
Nice fucking model!
This can be solved and remedied, I know, with extensions that you can get on Amazon or Evike or what have you they can buy and attach on here. I understand this. Sadly, I don't have any extensions at the moment, and I would have to basically rush order the things in. So until further notice, I am going to basically put a buffer tube on this sucker so the test going forward can be carried out properly. Okay? Okay. Be right back.
1 hour later.
Okay, so the wires have come in, the extended wires. I will leave a link to those in the comments section down below, by the way, along with a link to buy this gun if you want it yourself and you got the money for it. But, okay. So let's just go ahead and get this rant out of the way, shall we? I'm sorry, but what the actual ever-loving fuck? People, look, if you're going to spend $300, and yes, I know, $300, to basically make a gun that is a perfect 1-to-1 scale replica of course, the M16A1, or not just the A1, but basically the XM16, the M16 that basically came before the A1, all that good jazz, then by all fucking means, you should have at least made easy for us to not only, one, access the fucking battery compartment, because guess what? What you could have done is you could have basically done like the G3 here, where the butt pad basically slides up, and there's a little part in there that basically holds the screw in place. You could have done what the Steyr AUG does, and basically have it to where, you know, you pinch, you pull off. Get it, got it, good. But no, instead you decide to have it to where the screw holds on the butt pad, to where it just directly is, of course, right there in the fucking thing. But no! You decide, let's just go ahead and go with a buffer tube length wire to where they have to basically pull off the goddamn stock itself. Look, people, catastrophic malfunctions happens with LiPo batteries, especially with some that have cells in them and you're not using the Titan battery. Or maybe something happens where the connector itself catches fucking fire because too much fucking something is going through the goddamn cord, the wiring. Basic electrical safety should be a thing that you understand. Now, I may be wrong, and there may be actual safeguards in the gearbox itself to prevent such things from happening. But I'm fucking sorry! Could you at least take into consideration the actual possibility that maybe something could go wrong in the actual wiring itself to where maybe the player has to quickly access the buttstock, the battery area, to where basically they can fix the goddamn problem? Could you people have not fucking thought of that?
It's fucking raw!
Rant out of the way, let's go ahead and just continue talking about this, because again, this aside, I absolutely love this. Full metal body construction. Actual 1-to-1 replica of an actual, like, handguard of the M16 with the actual, well, metal inside the handguard to prevent any sort of heating from happening. The designs themselves, actually really good. The same number you find on an actual A1 handguard. The flash hider, that is, well, not A1, but you get what I'm saying. Basically, this is as close as you're going to get to an actual M16. Minus, of course, having to replace this so you can quickly access the battery compartment. The sling mounts are where they're supposed to be. The one thing I absolutely love is the fact of the bolt locks open to where you can access the hop-up unit, which is a rotary-style hop-up unit. That is actually very good and intuitive, and I'm slowly replacing all the hop units in my guns with these. I might be getting full metal ones in the future because I saw one at a game once, And I actually wanted to get that one because it actually has a window inside of it to actually show you, hey, this is what's going on with your BBs, this is where a jam may have happened, things like that. I absolutely fucking love that. And I love the fact that the actual bolt release actually works, so you can get that extra bit of realism to where, let's say you run out, you pull back the bolt, you put a new magazine in, and you hit that bolt release. Again, I absolutely love it. The pistol grip's the same way. Everything about this is one-to-one. I absolutely love the fact of, hey, they actually have markings on the actual magwell. I love this thing, but that one little design choice makes me just... Either way, though, let's go ahead, get a battery in here, which is a 11.1 Titan LiPo, get this little .2s, and see what kind of FPS we're getting out of this thing, shall we? Okay, so I have, of course, the M16 here with, of course, a magazine. It's 190 round high cap, if you want to actually call it a high cap magazine, loaded up. There we go. Make sure it's actually firing. Yep, firing. Actually, what I do, I need it on semi so I can actually get some FPS readings. Having to do this like this because I don't got a stand yet for the unit. So, firing once. 368, 1.28 joule, 1.26 joules. 371, 1.28 joules. 328, 1.00 joule. 261, 0.63 joule. 327, 0.99 joule. 368, 1.26 joules. So it's definitely above the CQB limit, but it's... In terms of the actual joule limit for fields, I'm not 100% sure. But let's take this thing outside and get some distance test with it and see exactly what we're reaching at with .25 BBs. Shall we? I have you, ladies and gentlemen, at the dramatic movie shot. Because I've always wanted to shoot at this angle, and I want to see how this turns out. Let me know if you like this angle or not. And then I've got the Kodak on the clamp pod instead of the actual tripod. Mini tripod, not the full tripod. Anyway, I got the run camera, I've got the ENC M16, I've just got to connect the Titan LiPo stick battery, the 11.1, to the actual connector itself. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. Because it is hot outside, it is currently 94 degrees Fahrenheit, whatever that is in non-American units, non-freedom units. And yeah, we're going to just do some distance shooting and see how consistently we get, of course, down range. Gonna turn on the run cam now. There we go. Run cam is running. Just so you know, I'm using iron sights and the front sight is bent, so I'm probably just gonna shoot it offhand. So we're just gonna see if we can hit the broadside of a barn. Oh, yeah, that's right, I got it. Now let's try it. That's a yes, it'll hit the broadside of a barn, but going for just straight distance, I'm talking just straight down range, how far can this thing go? Because I have actually walked from here to the post down there at the very edge of the woods, which basically was the original pasture before we had to move the horse and donkey up because of a forest fire that happened, because of some fucking meth heads decided to set off a fire in the neighboring area. Yeah, that wasn't a pretty story. It wasn't pretty. Didn't end well either. So, let's see, just straight distance. I hit the gate. I could not replicate that shot. I replicated the shot. It's going beyond the gate. Let me just shoot past the gate now. It's going past the gate. It is going... Let me see if I can hit the cardboard pile. I'm hitting the cardboard pile. I want to see what this thing looks like with full auto. Let's face it, we both know we want to do a mag dump. Let's do just a straight up, long burst, see what we got, see what this thing sounds like on full auto. Shall we? just a laser beam. That is... my gripes about the buttstock aside, that was amazing. That's just... I'm a happy boy. So I'm going to try and say this as delicately as possible, because I know some of the people who watch the channel are the kind of people who absolutely love the idea of spending a lot of money and will support people to spend a shit ton of money. So I'm just going to say this now. For a $300 gun, it's good. However,
I don't like where this is going.
the fucking fact, that instead of coming up with an interesting way or a safe way to remove the butt pad, to access a wire, which, mind you, should have been long enough and should not have required me to basically spend the money to get essentially extenders. And yes, those are Deans. I may use a Dean battery in the future. I don't know yet. I'm still working with Tamiya. But the fact I had to replace the butt pad with this one, with a trap door, so I can safely remove a battery in case of a catastrophic failure, should tell you that the score will not be a legendary one. Because I do take the actual functionality and the safety of the player into account. And by functionality, I mean the functionality of the gun entirely, as well as the safety of the player, and the safety for the player. But that one design choice aside, this is a well-built gun. It is very much so, while not the Mattel Death Trap that we all know and love from history and, of course, anecdotals and, of course, FUD lore, it is still cool. For $300, you get a locking bolt, while not an automatic detention that automatically detentions the spring every time you put the gun on safety, like other Armalite platforms on the market, but around that price tag, I will say this now. This is actually really good. From the 14mm negative threading to the absolute fluted barrel here, not here, well, not fluted, the ribbed barrel here, to the buttstock, the way it's designed, the pistol grip, the magazine release, the snappiness of the trigger, the full metal construction, the fact that it has the correct delta ring here. Ladies and gentlemen, while yes, this is a $300 gun, I have reviewed other high-priced AR-15s before, or Armalite platform rifles before. This one, ladies and gentlemen, actually will get a pretty high score. While not my highest score, not the legendary rating, it's still going to be high. Ladies and gentlemen, the ENC M16 gets no more, no less than a 9 out of 10. A must-own. And I mean this when I say that this should be in your collection. If you are someone who is like me, who loves Fallout, then yes, get this one for your collection, especially if you love collecting Fallout guns, such as I. And I'm just going to say this right now, I'm going to be running this for my NCR loadout, because sadly the service rifle kit doesn't fit on this. But if I can, I will try and basically just turn this into the Fallout Tactics M16, which is basically just getting an A2 handguard and throwing it on here, and that essentially turns it into the Fallout Tactics M16, because the Fallout Tactics M16 was an A1, but this is not the A1 because it doesn't have the forward bolt assist. This is actually basically the Air Force's M16 back when, it was the XM16, more or less, the experimental gun. But again, it's one of those things of, I am just impressed, and I definitely want to find more guns in the future. I have found a few on Amazon, actually, thankfully enough, that I have to save up for, but again, it's one of those things of, this is actually really good, and I will leave links down below to where you can get this, which this came from an Airsoft GI mystery box, so you will get an Airsoft GI website link, along, of course, with the link to the extra cords, so you can basically extend the reach. As for the butt plate here, the most I can do is get you a link to a Lancer Tactical listing for basically a full stock or the stubby stock, which has this, which if you do get the stubby stock, you could basically turn this into a weird XM16 build, or if you wanted to, you could basically turn this into a disruptor build, where literally, you know what, that's gonna get into the history of AR-15 or Armalite development, and I'm not wanting to do that, so we're not gonna do that. Instead, I'm just gonna say this now, fucking go get this. Go get this gun. If you are a Fallout fan, or a Vietnam reenactor, or you just love the 1980s action movies, or, you know, The Matrix, because they had a lot of these in there, then, again, check out the link down below. But, either way, though, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what I do here, and you like what we do here at All American Airsoft Media, then please consider donating to the PayPal or Cash App down below. Or if you want, check out our friends at T238. T238 makes a lot of cool and awesome tracer units, be they, of course, the amazing Cyberpunk Griffin, or even the Spitfire, or all their other tracer units. And, of course, high-performance motors and trigger units. Or, if you want something that adds that extra bang to your buck and is Italian, the same folks who basically gave us the Beretta, the Benelli, and many other just, fine Italian firearms, then please check out the link to BRRA-A-A-A-AP. BRRA-A-A-AP makes these awesome 9mm impact blank adapters for Thunder Bee grenades, and again, basically take your Thunder Bee and turn it into a 9mm just impact beautiful. This is the V2, basically has a covered bottom instead of an open bottom, like the V1, so that way you don't damage your core, and again, it's just one of those fun things, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, as always, of course, I've been AirsoftAL, and if you're wondering what we're going to be reviewing next time, well, why don't we take a trip to the not the Middle East, because that's currently controlled. Well, what am I saying? That's not even controlled. That's basically just one big hotbed of fuckery. And just absolute death, destruction, and just really wished we had turned that son of a bitch into a glass parking lot. I'm just saying this right now. I've lost way too many family in the Middle East. But the one country, which is actually the homeland of my Jewish family, will be taking a look at a bullpup, one that is homegrown and designed in the state of Israel, the TAR-21. Not only by Unrex USA, but also by Ares. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen.
Apache, there's nothing hotter in the air or on the ground for Jack Holt, Army Crew Chief.
The Apache's got advanced everything, like a TV for target acquisition. The gunner aims just by moving his head. Talk about hot. This bird can make tracks at 200 miles an hour.